Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are getting out and gardening, and maybe like they're taking it back to their original roots. Maybe they have good fond memories of their grandparents growing rhubarb. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's one of those spring vegetables that you can grow here in Kentucky during the cooler weather months. It does like those cooler weather temperatures of Kentucky. And so with this one, I know a lot of people think about annual plants, but this rhubarb is considered a perennial plant. So it's really important when you look at the location of where you're going to situate your rhubarb that it's in a location that you know is going to be fine for even years to come. And that really helps in the success of your rhubarb as well when you get ready for harvest. So I wanted to talk about the site location that's the best. So if you have a conventional garden space, generally you want to kind of go to an area along the edge of your garden. That way that whenever you have to weed and do things like that, you're not disturbing the root system of it. I think another good location, especially with raised beds, is that, because they're raised above the ground so many inches, depending on how your design is laid out, sometimes I feel like with it being raised, it's easier to see and be able to care for. So that is a great option if you don't have a huge amount of space. You can grow rhubarb in containers, but it needs like a 10-gallon container. And so it needs to have a lot of space if you decide to do that. But with the location, you also need to look at full sunlight or at least partial sun. A lot of times the afternoon, whenever it goes into the summer months, it could benefit from a little bit of shade. So you do have that option. Sometimes people will plant it even along a fence line. So if you've got the location that kind of meets those requirements too, that's good. Well-drained soil is another thing to look for in your site. So raised beds, if you don't have a good site that drains really well because of our clay content soils, that could help you with the drainage. But definitely kind of look to those areas because, again, that'll help you in later down the road. There's a couple of different ones that do well for us here in the state of Kentucky. So the first one is Canada Red. This one is a little bit smaller variety, but it's got bright red stalks and it's got a really good sweet flavor to it. There's also McDonald, and it is strong. It has more upright growth. It's got some red color, so that could be another option depending on who you're buying it from. Valentine, that one's a long but deep red stalks. It's got a little bit less tart flavor to it. Victoria is the good standard. It's the most common. It has green stalks, has a little bit of a pinkish blush color to the stalk at the base. So those are all great options. And you may wonder, okay, where do I secure these cultivars? And so probably two ideas of that is to go through a really good reputable garden center nursery catalog. Go ahead and secure those ahead of time because your planting window is coming up here really soon. And so it's good to kind of get those ones that you know are going to do well. Again, get your site prepared. And with the spring weather in Kentucky, Joanna, it's always wet, it seems like. So sometimes your expectations, it may be pushed back a little bit because of our rainfall. So a lot of times it is treated like an accompaniment to a lot of those sweet treats. You can use them in capotes too. Like if you did a meat, you could cook it down. A lot of times they chop it up and add it. There's a lot of sugar content that's added to it. So most of the time, like you said, with some of these sweet treats, but muffins and pies and cakes, and there's just a lot of great options with rhubarb.
Yeah, and I think it adds like a tartness, but you have this sweetness, and it's great memories, and it's not terribly hard to care for.
No, and like we were mentioning, with it being a perennial crop, I think that's probably one of the added things. It's like once I plant it, if I got it in the right site, I've got the right cultivar, and then I do what I need to on some of the care and maintenance with it, you could have it for a long time. And like you said, usually it's gone in with strawberries, so a lot of times that sweetness from the strawberry and the tartness from the rhubarb, it makes it a really good accompaniment.
Yeah, and I think people want it for like jams, and so it might, even if you want to raise it for your personal use or if you wanted to raise it commercially, there could be some opportunity there.
Yeah, so it's just a great crop, and I want to put a plug in for the NEP gardening publication that we have on growing rhubarb. If you want some more information, that's a great resource. Also, our home vegetable gardening guidebook is helpful too.
If you have questions, always feel free to contact your local extension office. We'll see you next time.